The call by Professor Godfrey Bokpin comes as government is struggling to find solutions to mitigate the hardships Ghanaians are facing as a result of the continuous hike in fuel prices on the global market, the Russia-Ukraine war and the high rate of inflation, as well as the continuous cedi depreciation. According to him, keeping a large government is one of the major things that has contributed largely to the country's excessive public expenditure. Speaking to Citi Business News on the sidelines of the 11th Ghana Economic Forum organized by the Business and Financial Times, he noted that it is simply not possible to live beyond our means and avoid the kind of economic turmoil we are in today, thus the need for drastic action to be taken to reverse the cycle and bring public expenditure within the acceptable and prudent limits.
Whilst we are excited about great potential to generate a lot of domestic revenue, we should equally be advising government to be efficient with expenditure, because in this country we have been very wasteful, and we have said that we have been wasteful to the extent that the way we are operationalizing our democracy is so expensive. The cost of running our democracy in terms of size of government and all of that is just too huge. And at the end, when we are done, it leaves very little for where money has to go in order for growth to be engineered. And that's our problem. So that's why we are saying, yes, we'll collect more revenue. We all have to be more tax compliant. But we're also saying that let's look at expenditure. Let's take advantage of this crisis. Let's reduce the number of ministers to about 40 or below. We can do that. In fact, then reducing the number of ministers or the size of government drastically will not affect growth. It will rather free up space for growth-enhancing spending. That's the only way Ghana can come out of this.
Samuel Adu, Executive Director, Wholesale and Investment Banking with GCB Bank PLC, who stood in for the Managing Director of the bank, Kofi Adomako, noted that the current economic challenges facing the country and the world at large has afforded Ghana the opportunity to turn its economic structure from an import-dependent one to a producing one. Thus, the need for more to be done to ensure measures are put in place to transform the economy.
As Ghanaians, we are faced with a glaring opportunity to pull together in a bid to restructure our economy from a service-driven one and instead build a robust, resilient one through technology, finance, investment, trade, and entrepreneurship. A deliberate focus to collectively invest in priority sectors to develop Ghana into an agro-processing and light manufacturing-led economy. In essence, an approach that may not require significant capital and yet is more labor-intensive to provide the needed employment for our youth. It is time for a concerted use of technology to drive revenue collections, bring down costs of doing business, as well as breaking down silos across all facets of our economy. Eliminating silos with digital technology is certainly the key to better collaboration.
While acknowledging the challenges faced by businesses and Ghanaians at large, Minister of Public Enterprises Joseph Kujo said government remains committed to pursuing policies to improve the economic situation in the country.
We will continue to provide strong policy support to firm up the growth recovery and economic revitalization. All these policies and structural reforms aim to reposition and improve business competitiveness for future growth and enable businesses to leverage emerging opportunities, such as those introduced by the African Continental Free Trade Area. These supportive policy measures and regulations will also position Ghana as a competitive destination for the African businesses and investors.